Look at the forecast. To my right, we have Alex. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
And to my left, we have Garrett. Garrett, how you doing?
Doing well. I'm out of the Phantom Zone. Finally.
I was gonna say,
I'm back, guys.
I heard you took care of that issue, and it's now not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, as I took some aggressive vocab to portray my feelings to what happened to this. So basically, I won't say his name, but unfavored guest host of us screwed me over that night. I wonder who it is. He probably lives in the same household. I don't know. Can't confirm or deny, but I was about ready to beat the shit out of him. So, yeah, but I'm out of the Phantom Zone now, and we won't be going back. And if we do, there's going to be one less guest host on Wednesday Comics. So, look forward to that.
All right, let's move on there.
Oh.
Yeah, it just got real quick.
It really did.
Because we're in the real world, not Phantom Zone.
Dark Horse
Crazy.
Comics has some books coming out tomorrow. Rasputin, Voice of the Dragon 5/5 ends tomorrow. So if you're picking up that mini, make sure to pick that up. DC Comics, here we go. We got Bane Conquest 10-12. I almost skipped over this because I just assumed this was some sort of old thing. But no, this is still coming out. Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan, Bane Conquest. Now this cover looks like a different art style, but it's not, right? This is still the same people?
Yep.
How's it going now, Garrett?
I'm really liking it. The only thing is it should literally just be called Bane. Because he's not conquesting anything. It has nothing to do with him taking over anything. Like, he is trying to destroy the Cobra organization, but other than that, no reason to be called Conquest. So, but otherwise, it's fun, like, seeing Bane and his crew, like, work on basically destroying the whole Cobra network as a threat. So I'm really enjoying it. I think, obviously Chuck Dixon definitely gets Bane. He created him, and the art is very vintage for, using Bane. So you just see him and his camaraderie, and I think it's fun. Definitely worth checking out if you're into Bane or the Nightfall arc from Batman.
Batman 42, this is Tom King and Mikkel Hanin. This is Everyone Loves Ivy Part 2. Alex, what do you think about Part 1, where everybody in the world is taken over by Poison Ivy except for Catwoman and Batman because they take the antidote? What do you think?
I think you spoiled the book, but by all means,
you can't
sounds interesting.
You can't talk about 42?
I can spoil it. I understand. I haven't read it.
Oh, you haven't read it?
You caught up on Batman?
No.
Nope. Ooh, you got some reading to do, son.
Been busy watching Marvel movies instead.
Well, that's a waste of time. Just kidding.
You didn't read 41?
Better than watching those DC garbages.
You didn't read 41?
No.
Okay, well,
it's on my. I think it's on my stack, probably on the way bottom, because I'm actually excited for that book.
41.
No, I haven't read it yet.
41 had some great art. I thought the story was okay. The story as in that issue, that's fine. Like the dialogue and everything, that was good. But in terms of plot, it's I feel like this is something we've seen before, but I guess we'll see how it turns. I don't know what the point of this arc is. You know how we've been building up to this Catwoman thing for months, and actually each one is building on each other. This one I'm not sure about. This one seems like standard Batman fare. So I'm curious to see how Tom King's going to change it to be more than just Poison Ivy taking over the world.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they are... It kind of feels like a filler arc almost. Because, we've been given so much Batman and Catwoman, he kind of wants to dilute it a little bit, which I think would be a shame. But, that's only after reading the first issue of the arc. So I feel like second issue, he's usually good about putting some new concept into a book that it makes it fresh and exciting. So I have faith in it, but I'm also worried that same thing that you said, Marvin, that it might just be a little too average of a Batman tale.
Alex, here's a little something to get you going and wanting to read it. Batman or Bruce punches Alfred in the face.
Whoa, really?
You get to see that? It's it happened. The reason why it happens, you'll be like, oh yeah, I would have punched him in the face too. But it comes out of nowhere that it made me laugh. It literally, I'm not sure if it's supposed to make you laugh, but it made me laugh. So
it's one of those things that I really want to read the book. I just haven't gotten to it. So that does give me a little bit more reason to catch up.
Batman White Knight number 6. This is Sean Murphy with Sean Murphy. This is 6 of 8. Gotham City's strongest alliance comes to an end when Gordon trust in Batman reaches its limits. On the verge of resignation, the commissioner attempts the final act of public service, but an unlikely intervention allows the Dark Knight to fight another day. Meanwhile, Jack's mission takes a hit when his pill loses effect, and undercover of all this chaos, Neo Joker is positioned to take the city hostage. What do you think? We're almost done with this, Garrett. It's ramping up to the end. How's the White Knight been going?
I think it's been amazing. I'm really loving the storyline. They kind of set off right off the bat, like how much Batman's getting lost in his obsession with apprehending the Joker. So much so that he's like, at least in this storyline, he's starting to collude himself. He's starting to, do things that are very close to the edge of the line that obviously Gordon doesn't agree with. The city of Gotham doesn't agree with. His own, like, Nightwing and Batgirl don't agree with. So, I feel, it does truly feel like Batman is, the enemy or the villain in this story. Minus the fact that, Joker, he's doing kind of like an evil underground type of thing. So, there's just a lot to play with. You got the anti-Joker, I think they're calling Harley Quinn, and then Harley Quinzel's like getting mad at. See, there's so many different personas and identities. It's hard to keep it straight on the forecast and everything here, but I think the art obviously is amazing, and the story is really getting me amped. But I'm kind of like, I don't feel like 3 issues is enough to finish the story. But I guess I have to see what happens.
I thought it got bumped up to 9.
It went from 7 to 8, so it could go from 8 to 9.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
No, then I'm mistaken. I thought it was from 8 to 9, but it was 7 to 8. Okay.
And that last one will probably be oversized, to be honest. Who knows? Maybe not. Sean Murphy can put so much detail in one book that it might just be fine, and I might just be like, 3 issues, that's 70, 80 pages worth of material. So,
Black Lightning.
Are you caught up on White Knight?
Me? No, not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
It's getting intense real quick.
Black Lightning, Cold Dead Hands number 5. It's Tony Isabella, Clayton Hendry, cover by Ken Lashley. Black Lightning, Garrett, how's Black Lightning, Cold Dead Hands been?
It's been really good. I just started watching the TV show. I've been buying some of his back issues of Black Lightning. Honestly, I'm really getting to like this character, finding out more about him and his reasons for what he does. And he's just a badass. This book, especially, it's not a retelling of his origin. It's kind of more in line with the TV show where it's after some time that he's picked up the mantle of Black Lightning again. So, second to last issue, I've been enjoying it since issue 1, and it's kind of a shame that it's not an ongoing series, but maybe in the future, or maybe they'll have a new Outsiders book or something. So, yeah, definitely check it out.
Deathstroke number 29. This is Christopher Priest. This is Trevor Scott doing the art. Ryan Sook on the cover. Chinatown finale. This is the end of the arc with New Superman that Deathstroke is deciding he works alone. He does not work with a team. This is going to bring the series full circle as both villains and heroes struggle with the question of how to stop the world's deadly assassin once and for all. It feels like almost this is wrapping up. Nothing's been announced, but I wouldn't be surprised if you heard that Christopher Priest was wrapping up a story. And it's been going... If you were reading the book, it feels like this whole thing's been one long story, so it's actually pretty good. Exit Stage Left, the Snagglepuss Chronicles number 3 of 6. We're halfway done with this miniseries after this issue. I really do like this book. You know what the thing is with this book, too, is it's very... I felt like a slow burn, but in the best way possible. And there's a lot of politics, especially in the first issue, and I just enjoyed it. It's very... I wouldn't recommend this for everybody. It definitely is this hits all the things that I want to read in a book, but I like you two. I wouldn't be like, hey, you guys should read this book. I don't think you guys would enjoy it. Green Arrow number 38. This is Ben Percy and Juan Ferreira, Tale of Two Cities finale, and the special issue that wraps up plot lines that began at the start of the series. Green Arrow and Black Canary must stop. Moriarty Queen and Merlin from enacting the final stage of their master plan, and if GA manages to defeat them, he'll still have to face the outcome of a trial that could change Oliver Queen's life forever. Is this Ben Percy's last issue?
Yes, it is.
This is it?
Sadness. And even sadder, like I love Juan Ferreira, but no Otto Schmidt for that final issue? Are you crazy?
That surprises me.
Oh,
he was too busy doing that Teen Titans issue last week.
Yeah, fuck Teen Titans when it comes to this. Like, come on. But, yeah, I mean, this is my last issue of Green Arrow because I already looked at the previews while you were just amping it up, and doesn't look like it's going in good places after this, so it's a shame because this has been one of my favorite titles since Rebirth happened, and it sucks that, just like Green Lanterns, one of the books that I've really come to love and enjoy, I'm going to have to do without because I'm not going to get the same quality. So
it's a good run, though. 38.
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
It's a great run, yeah. I'll just go back and look at Green Arrow number 8. Look at that. That was the perfect issue for me.
Injustice 2, number 21. This is Tom Taylor and Mike Miller. Booster Gold trains Blue Beetle while over in Connect, Wonder Woman trains Supergirl. Damian heads to Gorilla City to join Ra's al Ghul and his allies, only to walk in the middle of Grodd rebellion against King Solvadar. Garrett, I know. What are you going to say? I'm going to say how this book's going. You say no rules, right?
No rules in the DC universe, so everyone's liable to be killed.
Answer me a question, and it's going to be a spoiler, so tune out for 2 seconds. Black Adam, bad guy, good guy?
Bad guy.
Okay. I just want to know. He switches back and forth, so you never know.
Oh, no.
Speaking of Black Adam, that Shazam movie should be coming out pretty soon. But,
yeah.
I've seen his costume. Looks pretty good.
You mean Suicide Squad? Well, I thought Black Adam was only going to be in Suicide Squad 2, that he wasn't going to be the villain in Shazam anymore.
I'm not talking about Black Adam. I'm talking about Shazam.
You were just talking about Black Adam.
Yeah, and I used that to move on to Shazam.
Well, Shazam. But Injustice has been really good. I mean, same thing that I always say. I feel like it's coming to I think it's going to close to ending, though, to be honest.
It might be. I mean, how long can that go when it's supposed to lead up to the second game and the game's already out?
5 years, if you remember Injustice, one that took place before Injustice Gods Among Us, so it could be up to 5 years. You never know.
I guess it all depends this time with Tom Taylor when he leaves, if they just end it or they find someone to take it over like the last time.
Right.
So it all depends on that. Justice League number 40, this is Christopher Priest, Pete Woods on art, David Yarden on the cover, Justice Lost Part 2. Look at that cover we have. Who do we have with this issue? I do like, this is an old school comic thing on the cover where they put who was in the issue. We have the JLA versus Justice League, it looks like. Alex, I know you've been a critic of this book. You haven't liked it. You said it's the worst book in the market. What do you think about issue number 40?
I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that I keep getting this book because I want to be able to talk to you guys about it. You guys keep saying such good and wonderful things about it that I wonder if you're drunk while you're reading it or if there's something you guys are looking for in a Justice League book. But I struggle with this book. Like last issue that we talked about, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's got good points. You guys you're bringing great ideas to me. I keep struggling. Every time I see this, you're right. I actually gave you a smirk of like, no, I never said this is the worst book. It really is. So,
I mean, it depends what you want from Justice League. Me and Garrett have been enjoying it a lot, and Alex hasn't. So go back and listen to our last review, and if it sounds like, because we really did break it down, so if it does sound like, hey, that's just like I want to read, then go read that book. But I would say, if you, I don't know, it's very hard to break down to say if you like this type of book, get Justice League, because I think it's more layered than just being like, oh, this is an action book or this is.
I would say if you liked Hickman's Avengers run and something that has a lot of layers to it, then this would be a good parallel for DC.
It's not a bad comparison because there's a lot of people in a lot of places and it jumps all over the place. So that's kind of.
I wouldn't give it quite that high because I've enjoyed the Hickman run. I haven't enjoyed this.
Yeah, well, did you enjoy Hickman's run from the first issue?
Yeah, I haven't read it.
Or was it amped up because it was so great ahead of time before you even read it?
No, I read the first, and I even read the first couple of issues prior to me getting in them myself. So,
Maybe
so
it's just
don't
not for
get,
you.
I wouldn't say give Priest a Hickman nod of like, hey, that's good.
I don't know. There's a lot of layers and Easter eggs that carry over on into other book. They have their issues in the sequential order. So
maybe the realization for me is that who gives a shit about the JL? The worst team.
Go back and listen to our review. We already talked about it for like half an hour, so go listen to that. Nightwing number 40. This is Sam Humphries and Bernard Chang, the Untouchable Deep Dive. That's not what the arc's called. Oh, yes, it is. At the mercy of the Sea Butcher. Garrett, what do you think? Nightwing, Sam Humphries has been on it for a little bit here. We have Bernard Chang now from Batman Beyond fame. Nightwing, what do you think?
I'm really loving the storyline. It's fun that it gets to tie into his past, that parallels to what's going on currently. I think that this is an actual villain that really brings it home for Nightwing, as opposed to like villains we've had in the past that really didn't mean anything to him or had anything to do with Spiral, because who needs that when you have Nightwing as a character? And I know that with issue 44, Ben Percy's taking over, so I'm enjoying the ride, and I know the ride's going to only get better. Yeah, Ben Percy's taking over with issue 44, so. So this arc, right? This arc itself, for as long as it's been lasting, I think Sam Humphries definitely gets his character. So if you were reading any of Tim Seeley stuff, I mean, if you need a fresh restart on Nightwing, just start where Sam Humphries starts his run, and I think you'll have a home run on a good storyline.
Yeah, that was something we never talked about on the show. Sam Humphries is leaving, and Ben Percy's taking over.
Is it still the Judge?
Yep.
Okay. As I was telling the guys earlier on the show, didn't think I bought issue 39. Turns out it was in my stack, just really well hidden. I didn't catch up on it, but I am excited to read this issue after I read 39.
Shade, the Changing Woman, number 1. This is Cecil Castellucci, Marley Zarcone, and Jamie Coe. This is coming out of Milk Wars, which we just wrapped up last week. And so now all these books are going to be relaunched. And this is the first one, Shade, the Changing Woman. Yes. Oh, I thought somebody said something.
Did you guys read Doom Patrol? I mean, the last part?
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Oh, yeah. Really? I didn't.
Yeah. That was a great ending.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like that event from the beginning wasn't trying to pretend there was something different. It was like, this thing's going to be like weird and like not really very linear. There's a lot of stuff all over the place. And so like, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I certainly can see Alex if he didn't enjoy it. It's very strange.
To be fair, there's a lot of things I don't enjoy. So,
but I mean, like, if you did enjoy that kind of storytelling or like how weird it was and stuff like that, these books are what's for you. So they're all relaunching, so you can jump on. This is the first one, Shade, the Changing Woman, number 1. Shade has jumped into somebody else's body and now a little bit older. So there you go. Superman number 42. This is Peter J. Tomasi, Patrick Gleason on art, according to the solicitor. Bizarro Re-Death Part 1. It's a bizarre Bizarro world, and we just live in it. When Superboy comes face to face with Bizarro, the son of Bizarro, a strange transformation begins to take place. But that's not all the Kents have knocking on their door. Superman vs. Bizarro Round 1 am not just the beginning. Alex, what do you think? Superman, I think, have you dropped Superman?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to get this. What about Garrett? This is going to be one of the final storylines ramping up to Bendis taking over, and we're going to have a Bizarro arc. You think that's worth the time ramping up to that? Or like, they're doing that special to wrap up their arc, but yeah, now we get the Bizarro thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the fact that Red Hood and if I was using Alex brain, again, Red Hood and the Outlaws, he's still very intelligent, so why is he acting? I mean, he could be intelligent in this too, or it might just be just Bizarro's son or whatever in this book. But I do like that, Gleason and Tomasi really have helped establish the Kent family. So to be able for one of their last arcs to kind of show the antithesis of the Kent family, which would be the Bizarro family, I think it'll be a fun arc, or if it's a one shot, what have you. I mean, I know they're trying to wrap up their storyline with that special coming out and whatnot, but I think that, having not had them on the book, like obviously, whatever that crap James Robinson was putting out, this could hopefully make up for why I went 2 months without a good quality book. So, I really trust them to give me a great issue leading off into Bendis's run.
Wildstorm number 12. This is Warren Ellis, John Davis Hunt. This is, you know what? Originally, I told you guys that I heard that after 12, they're taking a little break and then there was going to be 13, but I just looked that up. 13 comes out in April. But I do remember reading that he said this story kind of is in like 2 parts, and like 12 is like the first part, and then the second part will be like the second part of the story. So I would imagine the story we've been reading for these 12 issues is going to kind of not wrap up, but we'll get like some sort of conclusion in this arc.
Of some kind.
That cover looks great. John Davis Hunt on that cover. I have been enjoying this book a lot. What do you think, Alex? Wildstorm number 12.
I think Wildstorm is one of those. I'm going to say it out there. It's a gem. This book has surprised me overall. Has great action, great storytelling. It's weird, but it's weird that they actually give you science for it, whether it's actually legitimate science, but it's science in the book. This book is great. The art is amazing. Davis Hunt was doing art for Clean Room. Loved that, and I'm loving this. Hopefully there isn't a long break. I'm kind of hoping that it just kind of rolls into 13, like you said, in April, and we just keep going on.
What's this character's name again on the cover?
Engineer.
The Engineer, that's right. Yeah, I love that outfit. It looks awesome.
IDW Publishing, the first book on here, actually, I didn't even know it was coming out tomorrow. Highest House number 1. This is Mike Carey and Peter Gross. They are the creators behind Unwritten, if you ever read that, which is kind of like, Gary, you should read that book, The Unwritten.
Unwritten?
Yeah.
What's it about?
It's kind of like Harry Potter, actually. I won't say it anymore, but it's kind of like Harry Potter.
Cool.
The Highest House coming up tomorrow. So it's IDW getting into like, for a while, they're the king of licenses. They have all the licensed books, but this is like a brand new, this almost looks like it would be like a Dark Horse or Image book. It doesn't look half bad. If you look at that preview art, it looks pretty great. So check that out if you were a fan of the Unwritten or if you like something a little different. Also, Spider King number 1. This is Josh Van and Simone De Mari. This also is a new number 1 book that is not based on anything else. I'm guessing IDW is changing up their publishing, what they're doing with these books. This is Vikings versus Aliens. And this is reprinting something. It's a Kickstarter, so if you never got into that Kickstarter, go ahead and get this. But I'm kind of like, you can kind of hear me get excited being like, oh, IDW is going to try to do something else rather than, not that it's not, TMT's not a good book. It is. And they usually do great with their like Star Trek, Star Wars, TMNT, Gem, and the holograms, but it's exciting to see them try something different. So there you go. IDW Publishing. Those books are out tomorrow. Image Comics, East to West number 36. This is Jonathan Hickman, Nick Dragrado on the art. Things fathers do with their son. We catch up with death in Babylon. I believe the last issue. Alex, let's see how good my memory is. Death said, "Let's go find your mother," to his son, and that's where we're going now. Because there was some sort of thing that he had that she could push when she was in trouble, and he knew. He was like, "Hey, we got to go find your mother and save her."
Yep.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
So, I
couldn't tell you when that issue came out.
I was going to say, I think that was like 5 months ago, but we'll see how it is. I'm looking at this preview, and it looks fantastic. East to West, I mean, you hear us on the show, and you might be like, oh, those guys don't like East to West. No, we get every issue. We love it. 5 months between issues, I have a hard time remembering what's going on. But
I remember when this book came out, I read the first issue from Marvin. I fell in love with it, and then I had to have it. It's like being addicted to it. I'm going through withdrawals every 5 months. So.
Alex, when did that first issue come out?
Was it like 2013?
So in 5 years, we have 36 issues. That just tells you like the time frame we've been waiting for these. So normally that would be 60 issues. So it's almost like
generally, I'd say at least 50 if you took scheduled breaks.
Yeah. The fix number 11. This is Nick Spencer.
Right, are you guys going to get any of the variant covers? Or are you going to get the regular?
I like the regular.
Yeah. God. There's something about what's her face's. It's been so long I can't remember her name. What's Marcus's girlfriend's name?
are you talking about?
Maria?
Yeah, Maria. When she's in her outfit like that, looks great.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, what are you talking
Well,
about?
the variant cover has Maria on it.
No, it doesn't.
No, Are we talking about East or West?
Oh, I thought you brought up Deadly Class. Oh, that was next week. Sorry.
There's
Yep.
no Deadly Class in here.
Next week. That's next
You're going to
week.
confuse everybody again.
I know. I was looking at next week's list. I'm sorry. That was bad. When you
Get on topic, Garrett. Corey,
sorry.
tell Corey to come in here instead. The fix number 11. This is Nick Spencer and Steve Lieber. Mac is out for answers. Nick Spencer slowly coming back and doing some books. He just got announced he's doing Spider-Man, so it might slow down again when he's on that. But for now, we at least have the fix. Garrett, you on the right page now?
Yep, I'm on the right page. Promise.
The fix. How's the fix been?
It's been great. I mean, it's really funny, and I think if anyone gets comedy, it's Nick Spencer. So, it makes me think of like movies by Shane Black, like kind of that camaraderie between like two partners who just do like everything wrong, basically. And then you got their dog, and yeah, it's just a fun time every time I read an issue, and I'm always surprised when it comes back on the stack.
Gideon Falls number 1. This is Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, a brand new ongoing series from the acclaimed best-selling creative team of Old Man Logan and Green Arrow. The lives of the recluse young man obsessed with the conspiracy in the city's trash and a washed-up Catholic priest arrive in a small town full of dark secrets, becoming intertwined around the mysterious legend of the Black Barn, an otherworldly building that is alleged to have appeared in both the city and the small town throughout history, bringing death and madness in its wake. Alex, let me ask you a question. Let me make a statement first, and then I'll ask you a question here. I feel like this is, just from reading that solicited, different than anything that Jeff Lemire is doing. It seems way darker, but also like in a way that's almost like David Fincher-esque. But I don't think he's really that kind of writer, so actually I'm excited to see him stretch a little bit and do a little something different here. We have Dave Stewart on colors, so it looks like it's an all-around great team. Are you excited to read this book tomorrow?
I am excited, and I think a part of it is that what you just said, it's something new. It doesn't sound like a Jeff Lemire book. It sounds like almost sounds like it could be a Rucka book. Almost sounds like it could be a Hickman book, where it's out of Jeff's wheelhouse, and I'm excited to jump into it. I love Sorrentino art. I've missed that art, and Dave Stewart's great colors. So I'm excited for this book.
Marvin, do you get kind of that True Detective feel from this book? Like, I don't know, just like obviously I don't know anything without reading the first issue about like the story, but for some reason when I see it, I just think True Detective, like that's the first season.
Yeah, I mean like the True Detective David Fincher, because I think isn't David Fincher the producer of True Detective?
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of I think that something about it. The thing with David Fincher movies, and I just by looking at this cover and looking at, I saw a preview somewhere. It seems all of it seems like dread. Like there's a sense of dread throughout it that these characters are always in search of something. Like he's like I said here, there's some sort of conspiracy going on. He's not sure what's going on. That you're always like there's like this seedy underworld that they don't know about. And is it real or is it all in their head? Kind of like Fight Club was, Seven, all this stuff. So that's what this seems like. That's why I think it's going to be like that, which is great that Jeff Lemire is trying something different. I mean, if you look at his books like, Royal City and Sweet Tooth, Underwater Welder, they're all kind of like those, he hates the term, but like, I would say snapshot. I call them snapshots, like they peek into people's lives and you try, and they're not really about anything that crazy. I mean, there's little elements that are like science fiction, but it's mostly about the people. And this one actually does seem like it's really plot driven. So I'm excited to see that. I hate Fairyland number 17. This is Scotty Young and Scotty Young. Scotty Young, congratulations, just announced taking over Deadpool. There's magic in their cauldron. Alex, what do you think? I hate Fairyland.
I love this book. I wish that one of you guys got it. I'm sure you'll read it eventually online. This book is so good. Main character is quote unquote dead, and in hell, the best way to torture her is to send her back to Fairyland. So she's no longer dead, and we get to watch her kill everybody again. In her own personal hell.
You are correct.
It does look funny.
Yeah, I wish I would have got this book from the beginning, but there's only so many books you can read in a day. And maybe I'll catch up with this. I think it is on Hoopla, so maybe I'll catch up with it. You think I should do Descender and then this?
I think you're going to enjoy I Hate Fairyland more than Descender.
It's a quick read, you say.
Whoa, bullshit. I Hate Fairyland is like the funny pages, whatever. Descender, whoa. I don't even think so. That's offensive.
Alex reads both of them. You don't read both of them. You don't know.
I know you, and what you think's funny isn't funny, so I know you'll like Descender more.
Let me ask you a question, Garrett.
Who are you saying doesn't know funny, him or me?
I'll let you figure it out amongst yourselves.
Well, I assume it's me, but...
Oblivion Song by Robert Kirkman and Lorenzo de Facili. A decade ago, 300,000 citizens of Philadelphia were suddenly lost in oblivion. The government made every attempt to recover them, but after many years, they gave up. Nathan Cole won't. He makes daily trips, risking his lives to try and rescue those still living in the apocalyptic hellscape of oblivion. But maybe Nathan is looking for something else. Why can't he resist the siren call of the Oblivion song? Robert Kirkman hasn't done he has. Here's the thing about this. I'm going to ask you two questions, Garrett. Are you excited, A, but also how long do you think this is going to go? Because he did the Outcast for a while, and I think that has stopped coming out. He did.
Outcast is still coming out.
Does it? I don't think I've ever seen it.
Very slowly, but it is.
Okay, he did Super Dinosaur for a while. That I think it stopped coming out. Alex, confirm?
I haven't seen it in a couple years.
But maybe he has more time. Invincible's done. Do you think this will be something that'll be stay on schedule? And are you excited for it?
So, yes, I feel like he'll put this one out consistently. I mean, just seeing the fact that they're putting out like a $200 collector's edition, they're expecting it to be big. They are. I'm not saying it's going to be, but I'm definitely excited because, you wouldn't, maybe the people back when Walking Dead #1 came out, I was like, a book about zombies, like that's never going to go anywhere. Now look at what entire TV universe, you've sold over 175 comics of a book. So, it could, I'm willing to take the chance to see if it goes anywhere. The art looks incredible. I read the preview. The preview looks amazing. I'm very excited for this book. And I hope that he'll be able to do this cohesively while doing Walking Dead at the same time.
Alex, confirm or deny that you're getting this book?
I am.
And this is going to be your first Robert Kirkman book, correct? Because you've read Walking Dead, but you haven't been getting Walking Dead.
I've read parts of Walking Dead. I own all of Super Dinosaur, so not my first Kirkman reading. But
but I thought you went back and got it. You weren't getting it ongoing.
No, I went back and got it, but I caught up on it, and I was getting it.
I'm saying ongoing, Alex.
To be fair, I don't think Super Dinosaur got canceled. Anyway.
It's true. But you haven't got an issue that came out.
Yeah, but doesn't mean it's canceled. Just means
I'm just saying you're going to be jumping on the Robert Kirkman monthly train, and this is going to be your first one. So, my
thing is that I don't know. There's a part of me that I don't expect him to actually keep up on this book. This seems like a book that he put out, going, "Oh, I'm going to branch out a little bit." I think he's going to be too busy doing other stuff. He's going to be too busy doing Walking Dead. No offense, that is a phenomenal book that everyone seems to love, excluding myself because I haven't caught up on it. I don't think this book is going to last long. I think this is going to be maybe 10 issues before he realizes I got to wrap it up.
Boo, you whore.
There is one thing about Alex's statement that I think might be correct. If you read the last issue of Walking Dead, and we'll talk Walking Dead in seconds coming up here, in the letter columns, Robert Kirkman only talks about the TV show and Fear of the Walking Dead. He's promoting those, and it's kind of like, dude, you got a book coming up. You want to promote the book that you're doing? So I think they do put a preview at the end, but he didn't talk about it in his letter columns. I don't know. So I just feel like not only is he writing Walking Dead, he's producing Walking Dead TV show and Fear of the Walking Dead. How much time can you really have? And nothing against them. If he was busy doing those things, I understand those things would definitely take precedent. They make a lot of money. I'm sure he's got some sort of contract with AMC. But I just want to say this looks great, but I wouldn't be surprised if this went an arc and then we wait for the next one. Prism Stalker number 1. This is Sloan Long. This is fans of Octavia Butler, Sailor Moon, and the biopunk horror of David Cronenberg comes Prism Stalker, an ongoing science fiction series by Sloan Long. It is coming in a slow introductory price of $2.99. I'm not sure why that has to be its own line there. A lot of books are $2.99. I thought it was going to be like $1.99, but so there's another number 1 if you want to try that out tomorrow. Walking Dead, here we go. Number 177, Robert Kirkman and Charlie Allred. This is New World Order Part 3. This is Meet Officer Mercer. We heard a lot about him in the last issue. Garrett, what do you think about this storyline so far?
So kind of like two things. One, I'm still very much bitter that they raised the price of this book and didn't explain why. Usually they've been very candid about like the content that you're getting is fair for the price. And this is like the same amount of pages, but $1 more expensive. And the storyline, it's basically, so what happened the first time when we got like the big villain? It was the governor, right? And he had like, let's call it a campground full of people. Then next thing you get is Negan, who has a freaking town full of people that's organized. Now, basically, we're getting a new storyline where you're getting a whole
city.
What would you call it? County, city, whatever, that exists. So, like, what's the next thing going to be? State and then country? Like, that's the trend of this book. I mean, the content we're getting, like, the art is still great. I feel like the story that isn't really, like, the story that's not doing all this New Order stuff is still really fun to follow. But I feel like it's turning into Star Wars meets Walking Dead.
We were talking about this before we started recording. The only thing I didn't like if this was a story, there's one part of it that happened in the last issue, and I'll say that quickly for spoilers in a second here. If it didn't happen, I think I would have liked this a lot more. But when it happened, I was like, oh, this is exactly like every other storyline. There's a part where a lady is getting out of line and like trying to talk to these guys coming to this new town, and he's like, get back in line or I'll put you on a work assignment you won't like. And she kind of like, goes back in line, and you could tell like it's still authoritarian group, and there might be some shady stuff going on. And I was like, yeah, every group they meet, it turns out like, oh, this is a nice group, and then something's happening like, oh no, you're not nice. But like, how many times can they be tricked? I don't understand. And so I look, if they went to that town and they were actually a functioning city, and like they actually were nice. We met the mayor and she seems like she is nice, but I guarantee you that's all a front.
Right.
I can't understand why we can't just like, they can't go there and meet a city and be like, oh, this actually is a city. And then we can move on to like I was talking about months ago when they first announced this, like I guess 3 months ago, they were like, why can't this be just like, hey, how does a city work in this world? I don't like how would a functioning city work, and how do you keep the zombies at bay? We saw that they actually are pretty good at keeping zombies at bay. So
right.
like, there's a lot of good things they could get from it. I just don't like the aspect of like the group always somehow gets tricked into liking a group that is not kosher. And like, I understand you're trying to show me the horrors of humanity, but also like at some point, there's got to be something different. Otherwise, I'm reading the same thing over and over. But
right,
because
if you think about when reading, well, just whatever. One more second of like rambling on, but like when you read that storyline, it's like so many dynamic things were happening, and like literally the last 100 issues, it's been consistently like the same kind of storyline. Like it's been different with characters, but not overall plot.
There's one plot line that they, for the time being, kind of pushed to the side, which is very interesting. I think they should go back to it. And it was very interesting during the Whispers War, is Negan. It's like this dude, they've chosen to accept him and be like, hey, you're okay, you've done your time. And they let him go. And that issue where he's by himself is pretty great.
Yeah.
And like seeing this guy being rehabilitated, and he actually does feel bad for what he did, but he knows, he's like, I had to do it for my people to survive. Yes, I did get carried away, and maybe like I became like I this world kind of changed me and I didn't like the person I was, and now I'm not like that anymore. I understand. I've had some time to reflect, and like I find that very interesting. But then we got to go back and get into some war again. Like, no, I just want to hear how like this world changes people. We can do it on a smaller level rather than having a war with two groups all the time.
Right.
We should talk Walking Dead show. We haven't ever talked Walking Dead in the show, I don't think.
Yeah, sometime.
Marvel Comics, this is the land the legacy forgot. This is a fresh restart. Amazing Spider-Man number 797. Alex, you still getting Amazing Spider-Man?
Still getting it, but I haven't caught up on it.
Dan Slott, Stuart Eminem, Alex Ross on the cover. Alex Ross still going strong on these covers. It's actually a pretty great cover. Going down swinging.
Awesome.
I believe this is Dan Slott's last arc on Spider-Man. Like the aforementioned Nick Spencer on The Fix taking over Spider-Man they mentioned. Alex, are you gonna you're gonna get this book, right?
I'm gonna finish this out. Finish out Slott's run, and tentatively gonna try Nick Spencer's first issue. I feel like I've been burned a lot by Spider-Man, so I don't know what I'm looking at.
I don't know either.
Oh, okay. Now it was blurry at first. I just saw something red, but I saw it. I don't know. I'm hopeful for this book. I'm hopeful for Spider-Man. I want a book that I can be like, yes, I love Spider-Man again. Because as of right now, I'm not.
I'm excited for Nick Spencer to take over. I think he's going to create something that, unless he turns Spider-Man evil again, like right away.
No, I don't think so. He said he's going to go back to basics with Spider-Man. That's what his pitch was. And we have Ryan Otley, who's been doing art for Invincible. This is going to be his first thing with Marvel, I believe. Or at least his first thing in, 10 years. So that's exciting, too. And I believe I can almost predict the future here, Alex. Ryan Otley art, I guarantee you'll like.
You said it's the guy from Invincible, right?
Yeah.
I think I'll like it. Invincible always seemed like a Spider-Man-ish kind of book. So
yeah,
should be good. You should know how to draw it.
And he does action well, so I think you'll like that. So we'll check in with Alex and Amazing Spider-Man when he catches up and see how it's been going. Captain America number 699, one issue before the grand 700 storyline. The storyline leading to the massive issue 700 continues. This is the second part of the Out of Time storyline, it looks like. What's this thing at the bottom? Incredible Hulk versus the Thing in the Battle for the Future. Well, not really. I mean, they're in it, but okay. So that's they're just making a joke of they're actually a fake cover. Is what they're making a joke about. I know. I believe Alex, did you like issue number 698?
I think talking about it with you made me enjoy it more and helped me understand what it was. I don't know what to expect from this book anymore. This series, because it started out just getting Steve Rogers, not Ghost Steve Rogers, but just regular Steve Rogers back into the seat and how to be a hero. Now we're getting into weirder stuff, and I don't know how to approach it. Because I tell you what, that 698 took a weird turn on me that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I hated the last issue, and I just looked at the preview art for this next one, and it looks like it's doing a complete 180 back to form. So I don't know. I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because that last issue really turned me off. Like, I did not like that.
This is Doctor Strange Damnation number 1. I like the last issue of Captain America, by the way. Doctor Strange Damnation number 2. This is Nick Spencer, Donny Cates, and Simon Kadrowski with Rod Rice on the cover. Even though I'm looking at the preview, it kind of looks like he must do the same type of art style Rod Rice does, because it does look like Rod Rice art. Because I was kind of disappointed for a second, being like, Rod Rice only did one issue and that's it. But the inside art actually kind of looks his style, so I guess it wouldn't be that big of a difference. Garrett, what do you think? Damnation number 2. How's it going to be?
I really enjoyed issue 1, and then the Doctor Strange issue we got last week was good too. So I really can't say because, without adding spoilers to the mix, and I don't want to make Marvin create all these show notes, but something happens last issue of Doctor Strange leading into this book that's going to make things rather difficult to accomplish for Doctor Strange. So I can't really speculate on what that's going to be, so I just kind of read and see what happens. But I'm excited. I think the art team, the writing team is great. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens next.
So does it go Damnation number 1, then 386 of Doctor Strange, and then this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to run concurrently. It's not like
Okay.
there's a specific order. But
In Damnation number 1, there's a scene, and I think Doctor Strange is more of that scene. If I'm understanding it correctly. I haven't read Doctor Strange yet.
I just want to make sure, because if this is picking up right after 386, I think this issue will be really good.
Well, there's a note in the beginning of 386 that says, takes place before Damnation number 1 and mostly after Damnation number 1.
Okay, that makes sense. So I'm just hoping that this issue follows what 386 had done, because that was great.
Yeah.
And so I'm hopeful, and I believe in Donny Cates, and I know Nick Spencer is a good writer. So we'll just have to see what it brings.
Hawkeye number 16. This is Kelly Thompson's final issue of Hawkeye with Leonardo Romero. Leonardo Romero also, congratulations, he's taken over for Chris Samney on Captain America. That was announced. Kelly Thompson, still no announcement, but we do know she's exclusive to Marvel, so she should have a book coming out pretty soon. They just haven't announced
Nancy Drew!
With Marvel, I said.
Oh.
Alex, what do you think the last issue of Hawkeye, the farewell to the L.A. Belle? This is the end of this run. What do you think of Hawkeye? How's it been?
Overall, Hawkeye, one of Marvel's strongest books that have come out in the last year and a half. I hope Kelly Thompson moves on to something else amazing in Marvel, because she's just blown me out of the water. Overall, this book, Kate Bishop, amazing. Honestly, almost love her more than I like Clint. This is totally her book, and she's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be really sad to see this one go. I mean, what a great run. Wow. Kind of, it's like emotional in a sense, like, you never want your favorite show or your favorite comic to like end, and it's always a bummer when it does, but it's great that we'll see. I mean, I feel like she's going to stick to the landing, but this obviously got canceled. It wasn't planned to end. So I think she'll be able to do it, but it's going to be really sad to see it go.
Yeah, this was a book, I believe. I don't think there's ever been an issue where we didn't like it. I think it's been good since issue 1. It was on a few of our, I think all of our actually top 5 list for one of the best books last year. And then right after we put that out, Marvel said, hey, no more. And I said, oh, okay. I guess you don't like top 5 list. But I really do think this book has been great. Leonardo Romero's been a great artist, but not more importantly, but I think for us, at least, something that we learned was Kelly Thompson's a great writer, and whatever she does next will be great. Speaking of which, Rogue and Gambit, number 3, this is Kelly Thompson and Petty Perez. This is Ring of Fire Part 3. Garrett, have you been catching up with Rogue and Gambit?
Yep, I'm all caught up.
How's it been?
I've liked it. I mean, I won't compare it to Hawkeye, but I mean, I think it's still trying to get its feet wet. This third issue, I think, I hope it'll be good. I mean, again, I don't know a whole lot about Rogue and Gambit or their history together, so this is kind of fun for me being on the outside, whatever the phrase is. On the outside looking in, getting to know these characters better, so I think that's like my advantage to the storyline. The art's great, and the story has been good, so it's fun seeing these two work together. So I guess I won't know until I read, but looking forward to it.
X-Men Red number 2. This is Tom Taylor and Mahmoud Asser, The Hate Machine Part 2. I believe you both got this, but Alex, what do you think? X-Men Red, how's it been?
Issue 1 was really good, but I've actually chosen to not get issue 2.
Really?
Yeah.
How come? Just cut down on books?
A part of me was just, I loved issue 1. It was really good. But just to make the cut and not to get invested in it, because I know if I read another issue or 2, I'm never going to drop it. So just cutting the ties now. But issue 1 was great, and this cover for issue 2 is really great.
Oof, the inside art looks good though too.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed issue 1 also. I mean, a big Tom Taylor fan. But I think he really pulled off a great number 1 that like caught me up to everything I need to know about all the characters in the book. And looking at the preview for issue 2, yeah, this is going to be a great team book as long as it stays X-Men Red and doesn't cross over into other things, which it could, but won't know until it happens.
Now we're moving to the Upside Down. That's Marvel Comics. Dodge City #1. This is Josh Trilo Kara McGee. Is you know what? I just wanted to mention this because the art looks great, and I just saw it was a new #1 in the down below from Boombox. It's about dodgeball. So if you want to get just a fun book about, it looks like it's a comedy book. There you go. Dodge City #1. In the down below, and my thing just froze here. But Garrett, Mech Cadet what issue is it?
7.
7. What do you think, Mech Cadet? It got a extension to a new arc, and now it's an ongoing. And how's it been so far?
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to read issue 5 yet, because issue 5 is the start of the second volume. So once I already have issue 6. I'm going to be picking up 7, but I'm sure the storyline's great. I just got to get issue 5, and then I'll be all over it. So definitely looking forward to it when I get a hold of issue 5.
Get on it. Just kidding. I don't know why I yelled that. Shadow Batman #6 is Steve Orlando and Giovanni Temparo. This is the end of Shadow Batman, if I'm correct, Garrett?
Yep. This is the final book.
How's it been?
It's been a lot of fun. With all the crossovers with Batman lately, TMNT Batman, The Shadow. This one is a lot of fun because I think the spotlight's more on Damian than it is on Batman. And just because it's a crossover doesn't mean it doesn't help you get to understand the character better. So I've really enjoyed where the story's been going, and I think The Shadow is a great character to bounce Batman and his whole family off of. So this will be a great book to see conclude, and maybe it'll come back for a third story, but I think they could space it out a little bit more. Literally when the last issue of the first arc was done, they started this series. So who knows? Maybe, I don't think that's happening again, but it's been a fun ride.
Those are the books for A. Never mentioned the date at the beginning because Garrett went on a rant about Guest House 1. 3/7/2018. That's the first Wednesday in March. Alex, if you were a betting man, which I'm going to say you are, what book would you bet would be the best pick for tomorrow? Or for today, whenever you really listen to this?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think the one that I would either be the most excited for or the one that I've got the most faith in would be Gideon Falls #1 by Jeff Lemire.
Gideon Falls #1 by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino, new #1. Tomorrow, so you're looking for a new book, pick that up. I think we could all say that is a safe choice, that it should be great. So Garrett, what do you think? What's your pick for tomorrow?
I have 2. My #1 is going to be Hawkeye #16. Very much looking forward to that.
Go ahead.
And then my second one is Green Arrow #38. So I got 2 conclusions to 2 books that probably going to leave me very bittersweet because I've loved the runs and it's going to be sad to see him go, but it's fun. It'll be great to have a good wrap to their storylines and be able to see what's next in the comic world.
And all you do by picking 2 is making it harder for me to pick 1. So
sorry.
I gotta look through this list now and see.
Well, you don't read Green Arrow.
So then you could have said Green Arrow, and I could have said Hawkeye. Hawkeye was my pick, actually. So I do recommend Hawkeye. But I do want to pick another one just so people can pick it up and try it out here. So
I figured you would say Oblivion Song, Garrett.
That's what I thought.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be a home run. I mean, I remember reading issue 1 of Walking Dead, and when I got done with it, it was good, but I had a lot of questions. So I don't think it's, I don't think issue 1s, just because they're issue 1s, are gonna be blow me out of the water. Usually I like it when you get to know the characters and get those good moments that you understand, as opposed to here's 20 questions, you'll get the answers over the next 5 years.
You don't like issue 1s?
I like issue 1s fine, but I don't think I've ever had a perfect issue 1 that I've read that I'm okay, Doomsday Clock's pretty close. But other than that, I haven't had one that's fuck, I haven't read anything better than this.
Watchmen #1? Let's get
Not even that. I mean, yeah, right.
We
when I
don't.
was first reading that.
We don't have that conversation. East and West #36, that'll be my pick. It's been gone for a while, but usually it's there's enough in there that I'm reminds me why I like the book. So, and I looked at that preview art; it looks pretty great. So, thank you, Jonathan Hickman, for writing one issue every 5 months. That gives me enough energy to say I'm a fan of yours. So, Alex, what do you say? If you live in where we live, they call this the Upper Midwest. A lot of crazy stuff's happening. I believe School was canceled, so that affected Garrett. A lot of places where the interstate was closed down, we couldn't go anywhere. But we can go somewhere tomorrow. They called up. They said, "Hey, comics tomorrow? Okay, you guys can go back in the roads." How's it going to be tomorrow?
You know, in all honesty, it'll probably be fine tomorrow. I mean, I am a meteorologist. Went to 12 years of school. I look into the sky, and I can tell you what, should be pretty sunny, nice-ish. Snow's going to be melting, so be aware of some slipperiness. Walk down the stairs carefully. Use your railings. That's what they're there for. Put some salt down. You'll be fine. Just, be prepared. Wear a coat. Could be chilly.
Could be. You know what they say, though. Hey, Garrett, what are the roads going to look like tomorrow? Well, I'm driving to a lot of potholes. Can you take care of that?
I can't take care of it, but I'll let the city know, and they'll say we don't care. But I think the roads will be fine. Plows have been by. The chemicals have been laid down, so there should be plenty to keep you from sliding off the interstate if you're using that path to get to the shop. But I do recommend it is a smaller week for me and Alex, not for Marvin. But
is that the first time in history?
There's a lot of gems on that wall, and I think it's another day where you need to get to that shop pretty early and get those books because they will be sold out or gone, or you'll have to wait for a second printing if you don't get them tomorrow. So get there when you can, and definitely grab them as quick as you can.
Today I took a right turn. I was going to the grocery store, and there was a huge pothole. My right wheel, like I was turning, so I obviously couldn't see it was coming up. I fell into it, and I believe I hit Mephisto in the head. So watch out there if you've gone through some recent cold and then now it's turning warm. That road will break up, and you will have to dodge those potholes. Tomorrow, make sure to go to YouTube and check out the Gauntlet from Garrett, and Alex will not be there. There'll be a special guest on that episode. Who knows? We might see the resolution to last week's forecast issue on that show. Who knows? But I would tune in. If I'm a betting man, like I said before, I would tune in to Wednesday Comics on YouTube. But for the forecast, I've been Marvin.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Garrett.
Hey, everyone. Stay warm or cool or whatever you want. Keep reading those books.